Here are today's top stories. President Duterte defends the appointment of Teresita de Castro as the new Chief Justice. No Filipinos are reported among the casualties of a mass shooting in Jacksonville Landing, Florida. Authorities find imported galunggong in local markets to be free from formalin contamination. And 2 Filipino golfers win gold medals in the Asian Games. Good day, I'm William Theo.
And I'm Pia Roses Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom.
President Rodrigo Duterte justified the appointment of Associate Justice Teresita de Castro as the new Chief Justice.
Malacanang and other top officials, meanwhile, welcomed de Castro's appointment. Rom Dulfo has this report.
President Rodrigo Duterte defends his decision to appoint Supreme Court Associate Justice Teresita de Castro as new Chief Justice. The President notes the importance of seniority in appointing top officials.
Kung sino yung naunang pumasok, siya yung unang ma-promote. And that would go for everybody in the
Chief Justice to accomplish in less than 2 months?
I am not familiar with any of them actually. Wala akong kakilalang justice na yung personal. Truthfully, I have never talked to anyone there. Wala akong kilala, they're all strangers to me. Remember that hindi naman ako practitioner ng Manila.
Malacanang describes de Castro as the best choice for Supreme Court Chief Justice, saying she had proven competence for the position. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says Duterte has upheld judicial professionalism by appointing most senior aspirants. Roque also says de Castro had more experience than the former Chief Justice. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
President Rodrigo Duterte led today the commemoration of National Heroes Day and joined the wreath-laying ceremony at the Libingan ng mga Bayani. In his speech, he recognized the so-called everyday heroes who sacrificed for their families and communities. The president also paid tribute to those who face insurmountable odds to defend the country and its values. He called on everyone to emulate the heroism of those who fought for freedom. The president also honored the soldiers who participated in the liberation of Marawi City, policemen, teachers, and overseas Filipino workers or OFWs. Meanwhile, Vice President Leni Robredo honored the traditional and modern-day Filipino heroes and urged everyone to remember the values they impart.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to visit the Philippines in November this year. The visit is a follow-up to the recent high-level economic meetings between Philippine and Chinese economic and infrastructure managers in Beijing. The bilateral meeting stressed the need to deepen cooperation in commercial and infrastructure development, specifically under the Philippine government's Build, Build, Build program. The Philippine delegation gave updates on the progress of China-financed infrastructure projects and projects pitched for feasibility study assistance by the Chinese government. Both sides affirmed their commitment to strengthen economic ties and work together for the timely completion of the infrastructure projects. The Philippine delegation will also meet with the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the China International Development Cooperation Agency, and the Export-Import Bank of China to explore additional avenues of cooperation, economic aid, and investments.
The Department of Foreign Affairs said that no Filipino was among the victims of a fatal shooting incident in Jacksonville Landing, Florida. A gunman opened fire inside a gaming bar, killing 2 and wounding 11 others before he shot and killed himself. The DFA says the agency is monitoring the situation of the Filipino community in Jacksonville Landing. There are around 13,000 members of the Filipino community in Florida's 4th Congressional District. The DFA, through the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C., expressed its condolences to the families of the victims in the shooting incident.
Critics of President Rodrigo Duterte have been challenged to see for themselves whether or not he is in good health. As a response, Special Assistant to the President Bongo has told Magdalo Party List Representative Gary Alejano and Senator Antonio Trillanes to join President Duterte in his trip to Israel. Alejandro earlier claimed that the president is going to Israel for a medical checkup despite the invitation of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Go also challenged Communist Party of the Philippines founder Jose Maria Sison to join the president and submit himself to a medical checkup. Sison, who was alleged to suffer from colon cancer, said that Duterte was in a coma and then challenged him to undergo a medical examination. Go also reiterated that the president has a clean bill of health and is strong enough to finish his term. Still to come, authorities find imported galunggong in local markets to be free from formalin contamination. The Philippines and China commit to speed up jointly ventured infrastructure projects under the Duterte administration. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng presidente. August 17, Biyernes, Davao City. Dumalo si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa hugpong ng Pagbabago Convention.
In this election, I commit to the Filipino people that this will be a clean election.
August 21, Linggo, Cebu City. Nakilahok ang Pangulo sa League of Municipalities of the Philippines Visayas Island Cluster Conference. Dito ay kinausap niya ang mga punong bayan.
Do not associate yourselves with the Communist Party of the Philippines. Never give them aid and never give them favor. It will be to your chagrin at the end of the day if you do that. Talagang wag.
August 22, Miyerkules, Davao City. Nag-courtesy call kay Pangulong Duterte sa Indonesian Ambassador Sinyo Hari Sarundahang. Nakipag-usap ang Pangulo kay MNLF Chairman Nur Miswari. Nakipag-usap rin siya sa Special Envoy ng Royal Council of the Sulu Sultanate na si Dato Shabandar Abdul Sakurtan. Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar. At ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Imported fish being sold in markets have tested negative for formalin according to the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BFAR. The BFAR allayed fears that imported round scad or galunggong are contaminated with formalin. The tested samples were from Balintawak Market, Cubao Farmers Market, and Navotas Fish Port. Based on laboratory analysis, the fish were found to have small amounts of formaldehyde, a chemical compound that naturally develops in dead fish. The BFAR says it will ensure that any imported or locally sourced fish is safe for consumption. Fresh galunggong currently sells at 140 to 160 pesos per kilo, while frozen galunggong is worth 80 pesos per kilo.
Philippine exports are expected to recover in the second half of 2018 as local companies take advantage of the growth in several markets along with trade agreements with other countries. More in this report from Benj Bondok.
Projections on the country's export revenues remain bright as demand is expected to increase in the second half of 2018, according to the Philippine Exporters Confederation Incorporated. PhilExport President Celio Ortiz Luis Jr. said the group is optimistic their sector will hit its 5% growth target on revenues by the end of this year. He noted that Christmas season is already approaching, which will boost more production and spending. There are also some expected improvements in electronics and agriculture, as well as mineral products. For the first half of 2018, the Philippine Statistics Authority reported a 3.8% decrease on merchandise exports. Ortiz Luis said he expects the upbeat services sector to boost export revenues this year. He mentioned that industry players are now looking to ASEAN to take full advantage of existing free trade agreements with neighbors. Apart from that, they are also setting their sights on Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The Duterte administration targets to raise export revenues to about 131 billion US dollars in goods and services by 2022. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
Manila and Beijing have affirmed their commitment to speed up the implementation of the Duterte administration's flagship infrastructure projects with financial support from China. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez said the preparations for the projects are being fast-tracked, particularly in the South Long-Haul Manila-Bicol Railway and the Clark-Subic Railway. Dominguez assured that they have been working hard to achieve the goals of President Rodrigo Duterte and President Xi Jinping. Chinese State Councilor and Foreign Affairs Minister Wang Yi, meanwhile, noted that the bilateral relations between the Philippines and China have vastly improved with the advancement of many works of cooperation. Bilateral trade with China has increased since 2017, with total trade between the two countries reaching over $13 billion in the first half of 2018.
Two alleged drug personalities in President Rodrigo Duterte's so-called narco list were killed in an encounter with anti-drug operatives in General Santos City. The slain suspects were identified as Juliet Sepi Bitayo and her cohort Noren Balawag Apil, both residents of Barangay Fatima in General Santos City. The two resisted arrest and engaged operatives in a firefight. Recovered were 3 firearms and several plastic packages containing suspected shabu. Police also seized suspected shabu, firearms, ammunition, and a hand grenade at the house of PO1 Michael Sepi, a brother of Juliet Bitayo and reportedly one of her protectors. Sepi, however, eluded arrest.
Iloilo City commemorated on Saturday its 81st charter anniversary. The city capped the celebration with a half-day foot parade, followed by a street dancing competition participated in by various offices at the City Hall. Mayor Jose Espinosa III cited the significance of the celebration, saying that Iloilo City's declaration as charter city marked the start of its development. The mayor cited the various recognitions earned by Iloilo City, the latest of which was the Most Improved City Award among highly urbanized cities in the country. The month-long celebration of Iloilo City's founding anniversary culminated in the evening with a Charter Day Ball honoring its sister cities, San Juan and General Santos City. Meanwhile, winners of the street dancing competition were the Ramon Avicenna National High School for the school-based category, City Treasurer's Office for the local government category, and Hua Xiong Main Campus for the open category. Up next, some 200 new Army officials are deployed to Army units around the country. 2 Filipino golfers bagged gold medals for the country in the Asian Games. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Libong mga pamilya sa ARMM ang inaasahang makakabenepisyo sa ilalim ng programang Bangsamoro Regional Inclusive Development for Growth and Empowerment o ARMBridge para sa taong 2018. Layunin ng ARMBridge na maibigay ang mga pangunahing pangangailangan ng isang pamilya upang maiahon sila sa kahirapan. Tinawag itong 4 na dapat. Papatayuan ang bawat pamilya ng kanilang sariling bahay, mapagkukunan ng malinis sa tubig, kuryente at bibigyan din ng pagkain at pangkabuhayan. Nito lamang ang 22 hanggang 23 ng Agosto ay personal na tinungo ni Governor Mujib Batama ng 4 na bayan sa probinsya ng Maguindanao para sa groundbreaking ng mga itatayong 400 core shelters. Kabilang sa mga nasabing bayan ay ang Datu Blasinsuat, Barira, Buldon at Matanog. Kasabay ng groundbreaking sa magkakaibang bayan ay ang pamamahagi din ng buwanang supply ng mga pagkain at hygiene kits sa mga benepisyaryo. Sa mensahe ni Governor Hataman, binigyang diin niya ang mga proyektong ibinibigay ng gobyerno ng ARMM ay para sa mga lubos na nangangailangan at karapat-dapat na mabigyan.
Dahil lahat ng proyekto na to, hindi ho ito proyekto ni Mujib Hataman, kung hindi proyekto to ng gobyerno, at ang proyekto ng gobyerno na to ay nagmula rin sa tao ang mga pera na ginamit dito. Kaya hindi ko ho ito proyekto kung hindi proyekto rin nyo ito na dapat binabalik lang namin sa inyo.
Dagdag pa ni Hataman, abot kamay na ng mga mamamayang naninirahan sa mga malalayong barangay ang oportunidad dahil unti-unti nang natatapos ang pagkukonkreto ng mga kalsada na magkokonekta sa mga bayan. Isa sa mga mabibigyan ng mga itatayong core shelters ay si Fatima Baragir, 43 years old at residente ng Barangay Pura sa bayan ng Dadobla, Sinsuat. Halos isang dekada nang nakikitira sa kanilang mga kamag-anak kasama ang 8 anak at asawa. Dahil sa arm bridge, ramdam niyang may gobyerno na handang tumulong sa kanila.
Isa po itong simula ng aming magandang buhay at saka yung kalusugan po ng aming mga anak, sir. Saka yung binibigay po nila sa amin na pabahay, napakalaking tulong po na magkaroon po ng magandang kinabukasan yung aming mga anak. Papasalamat po kami sa effort ng at saka sa tulong po ng aming butihing regional governor at saka sa lahat-lahat po ng mga nag-isip po nito.
Sa kabuuan, nasa mahigit 2.5 billion pesos ang pondong inilaan sa programang ito, kabilang na ang mga negosyo na ibibigay sa mga pamilyang miyembro ng kooperatiba. Noong nakaraang taon ay meron na ring 5,000 families ang una nang naging benepisyaryo ng Arm Bridge Program. Mula sa Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao at Bureau of Public Information, ako si Mark Anthony Uy para sa The Working ARMM Government.
Some 240 newly commissioned second lieutenants were formally deployed to various Philippine Army units nationwide to help in the ongoing fight against insurgency and terrorism. These officers consist of graduates of the Philippine Military Academy Class of 2018, the Officer Candidate School Class 49 to 17, including one from the British Army Commissioning Course of Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. Acting Army Chief Major General Chad Isleta led the send-off ceremony at the Army headquarters in Fort Bonifacio, Taguig City. The bulk of the new officers shall be deployed to various Army field units to strengthen leadership at the tactical level, which is essential in the fight against various threats besetting the country, particularly insurgency and terrorism.
The Department of Science and Technology reiterates its call to senior high school students to apply for the agency's undergraduate scholarship program. DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña challenged the youth who are interested and talented in science and mathematics is to become DOST scholars. De la Peña says more science and technology professionals are needed in addressing a number of national concerns. Students will be given 40,000 pesos worth of education assistance per academic year, 10,000 pesos for book allowance, and 7,000 pesos monthly living allowance. The scholarship is open to graduating students taking science, technology, engineering, and math courses. Interested applicants can download the application form at the official website of DOST. The nationwide examinations will be conducted on October 21st, 2018.
The Philippines added 2 more gold medals in the bag in the ongoing 18th Asian Games in Jakarta, Indonesia. Filipino-Japanese Yuka Saso topped the women's individual event and annexed the team gold with Bianca Pagdanganan and Luis K. Go in the golf competitions at the Pondok Inha Golf and Country Club. Pagdanganan, a student at the University of Arizona, also took the bronze in the women's individual event. The Philippines got 2 more bronze medals courtesy of Pencak Silat's Dines Dumaan and Jefferson Ray Loon. Meanwhile, Cherry May Regalado won the bronze medal in women's Pencak Silat on Monday. Indonesia and Singapore took the gold and silver respectively. Journalists in Pangasinan took time off to plant trees in an effort to promote environmental protection.
The project is a joint effort between the media, concerned agencies, and volunteers in the province. Maricor Zapata has the story.
Last Saturday, members of the Kapisanan ng mga broadcasters sa Pilipinas in Pangasinan Province and other volunteers rolled up their sleeves and planted some 2,000 seedlings of various kinds of trees in Barangay Pugaro, Balungaw, Pangasinan. It was a local media's annual project called Upland Broadcast Treeing, and they planted fruit-bearing trees, mahogany, among others. Mark Espinosa, chairperson of KBP Pangasinan, said the tree planting activity has been part of the environmental advocacy of the media organization since 2011. Partners for this year's Upland Broadcast Treeing are the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Department of the Interior and Local Government, Pangasinan Provincial Government, and other non-government organizations, including the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines and a bikers organization. Espinosa said the site for the tree planting, which is under the National Greening Program of the government, was designated by the DENR office in Pangasinan. Last year, the KBP planted seedlings along the riverbanks of Barangay Tebag, Mangaldan. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
Here's a recap of today's top stories. President Duterte defends appointment of Teresita de Castro as a new Chief Justice. No Filipinos are reported among the casualties of a mass shooting in Jacksonville Landing, Florida. Authorities find imported galunggong in local markets to be free from formalin contamination. And 2 Filipino golfers win gold medals in the Asian Games.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter.
For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites.
And that's your daily dose of the latest news
and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato.
And I'm William Theo. Good day.